Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us for the 35th episode of YCP's virtual monthly series, Refiner's Fire. Catholic business leaders from diverse industries share professional and spiritual wisdom in short 30-minute live sessions. In spite of the short length of these segments, we hope the tips and insights will be really powerful for us all as we strive to work and witness for Christ. The name of our micro interview series, Refiner's Fire, actually comes straight from Scripture, from Malachi chapter 3, verse 2. Where we learn that God is like a refiner's fire who seeks to purify us and make us the best we can be. And that's the whole point of this series. Through the inspiration and wisdom of these exceptional Catholic leaders, we are challenged to improve in small ways in our professional and spiritual lives. So let's be open to this journey of refinement so that in everything we do it aiming for the higher standard of excellence. There's glory to God. Our topic this month is standing up for your faith. When to speak up at work and when to seek work elsewhere. We will discuss workplace situations that put our faithfulness to the test and how to react boldly and wisely, disciples of Christ. Can't think of a better person to talk to about this than Rich Todd, who is the CEO and co-founder of Innovest Portfolio Solutions. Welcome, Rich. We're honored to have you with us here today.
Yeah, thank you, Pascal. I'm honored to be here.
Rich, this is a topic that is relatable to so many of us young professionals today. Can you share why it's important to you?
Yeah, thank you. Pascal, I'm part of a community in Denver of and really nationwide of Catholics, Catholic business owners. I'm in Legatus, and the secularism in this world is really difficult for a lot of young Catholics. And if you talk to a lot of the old guys, the old Catholics, and if you're ever in a situation where you feel like your culture and your company is not Catholic, they'll just tell you to leave. And I think that's getting harder and harder. And I blame some of these same professionals that actually sold their business that had a Christian culture, a Catholic culture, to the secular world. And I think in some cases they left their employees, their former employees, in a tough position. God calls us to be in the world, and I think at times the right response is you need to leave. But I think in a lot of cases it's an opportunity to evangelize and to show the grace of Christian living and a Christian life.
Ah, thank you. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about the impact of this culture. So, could you explain maybe your culture and ways that your company helps Christians feel comfortable and why that's important?
Yeah, thank you. We have a great firm. I mean, I'm biased, but we are 27 years old. We manage around close to 50 billion in assets, and we manage a lot of money in and for religious organizations, including the Catholic Church. And we have Catholics that are drawn to our culture. In fact, we have 60 employees, and over 40 are Catholic, and most are Christian. And we have a Christian culture. We think that's our secret sauce. In fact, our largest client is a university, a big university in Colorado, and that many wouldn't consider very Christian, but they just know we're a really good firm, and we do everything we can for them. And our secret sauce is that Christian culture. So it's really important to us, and it's important to us to feed it. So there are some certain things that we do that really feed our culture. First of all, we're very active in the Christian community. We're very active in the Catholic community, but we're also active in the Protestant ecumenical world in Colorado, and even nationally. We really encourage our employees to be involved in the community, be involved in their church, and in organizations like YCP. We're filling a table for an organization in Denver called Young Catholic Sports. So they have sports leagues, and they raise money, and we have we're buying a table and we're filling the table with our young employees. We have a lot of young Catholics here that go to daily mass, which is exciting. And we're sending a number of young people to Seek, if you know what that is, affiliated with Focus. I'm actually on the board of Focus. So, but we have lots of crosses and crucifixes, in cubes and offices, and rosaries and Bibles. We encourage people to have events, whether it's a Bible study or endow. We have an endow group that meets here, but our office is a place for that. So we look Catholic, we smell Catholic, we are Catholic, and we're proud of it. And we encourage our people to link Sundays and Mondays, that when you come to work, you have the same grace that you did when you were at Mass, and you bring it to work, bring it to our clients, which are many secular clients. I mean, 4 out of 5 of our clients are secular. So, we behave like Christians in and out of the workplace, in and out of the weekends and during the week.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so valuable, and I actually had never heard of that, carrying the Sunday's grace into Monday. I think that's really awesome. And yes, Catholic sports. I've played sports with them before. Now, unfortunately, many of us don't have the experience of working for a company that really supports our Christian faith. And even if we do, we might still face opposition and criticism. So, what are maybe some ways that we can handle that sort of opposition or criticism, especially for expressing our faith in the first place?
Yeah, I think prayer is really crucial. You have to pray for your employer, pray for your culture, pray for yourself, your teammates, your customers, your vendors, whoever you serve. And I think behaving like a Christian is really crucial. You give your best. You work hard. You're a great teammate. You make people around you better, and you focus on serving. And what you want them to know. You want them to know that you're Christian, and there are, even if you're in a tough place, there are things that you need to do, like, you need to make sure that you pray before meals. You should wear Christian jewelry. You should have a crucifix in your office. I mean, there are organizations that tell their people to take it down, and so be it. I mean, I think there are many secular organizations that don't, but I think behaving like a great employee is important. And when somebody says, Pascal, he's such a great teammate, he's such a great employee, they're going to think, Pascal's a Christian, Pascal's Catholic. I mean, that's why he behaves that way. And I think it's just so crucial to do your best. You can't participate in let's say LBGT events. And I know that that's tough, in a lot of organizations, they ask you to, I mean, some organizations celebrate Planned Parenthood. You can't do that as a Catholic. But, God gives us struggles, and struggles help us grow. And, bailing isn't always the answer. And by being a great Christian, it is really a form of evangelization, that behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say a quick reminder to the folks listening in that we will be taking questions for Rich Live. So please be thinking of those and drop them in the chat. Now, Rich, at the beginning, you mentioned how sometimes we're encouraged to leave the place because of conflict with our Christian faith. And sometimes that might be necessary, but I'd like to hear from you. When do you feel that it's necessary to consider seeking employment elsewhere due to such a conflict in faith?
Well, like I mentioned, anti-Christian events, if you're expected to participate, you have to say no. And maybe it is talking to your manager about it, or HR. And if you feel like you're being ostracized because of it, or if they, if it's a requirement. I mean, I think that's a point where you have to leave. I think today Christians are standing up more than they have in the past, and uh, it's having an impact. And I think you can see that with, let's say Target and Bud Light, and even firms like BlackRock. They're starting to stand down some. They've been very aggressive, but you can't really participate in things that are anti-Christian.
Exactly. This is obviously challenging. I think there's certainly these clear lines that you've helped us in here. And then at times, part of it is just the way of the cross, right? And the struggles that are part of Christian life. So, can you maybe speak to how we can use challenges in the workplace as opportunities for personal and spiritual growth and turn them into moments that strengthen our faith?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It is the way of the cross, and like I said before, God gives us struggles to help us grow. I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, uh, uh, we know that in athletics. I was a college athlete. My wife was a college athlete, and actually, my kids were college athletes too. And there's no doubt that uh, as a leader of a company, we actually we love to hire athletes here, so they can take on challenges and grow from it. I think you can look for opportunities to evangelize. Tell people when they're struggling that you'll pray for them, even if they don't like it. You tell them you'll pray for them, and then pray for them. I mean, don't be afraid of the adoration chapel to pray for your teammates, and uh, focus on service. We do a lot of service projects at Innovest. Actually, every month we're doing a service project. That's part of the way we feed the poor. We do it, or feed the faith. We do feed the poor. We build trails, we paint houses, we pack boxes, we do all kinds of different things as a firm. We do it during the week, once a month. But you can do that too. You can say, hey, we're going to go work at the shelter on a Saturday morning, and you encourage teammates, fellow employees to join you, whether they're secular or not, and you bring them, and that is a wonderful way to evangelize and show them, the culture of a Christian. And I think it's also important to seek out those Christians in your workplace that are like-minded, and you can form a support group. Don't be afraid to ask friends about these challenging situations. I don't have all the answers, but sometimes a lot of the things that I'm talking about, probably somebody told me, and because it's been easy. It's been easy for me to live in the culture that we're in, but talk to others, form prayer groups to help pray for your culture and your company that you work in, and your boss and your teammates. Prayer is just really crucial, and it's beyond you. Ask the saints to pray for you, and or Holy Mother, but all your colleagues.
Absolutely, that's so beautiful, and I mean, obviously you're right on prayer, and that's something that's so easy to forget when we're drowned out by the noise of work and the spinning of the world. And yeah, I think finding community and those opportunities for service. I mean, what is the Christian life without service? I think that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And
You're welcome.
um, one more reminder to the audience that we'll be taking questions live quite soon. But Rich, one more question before we go into that. YCP's mission is to work in witness to Christ. So I know we've touched on a bunch of these things already, but if you could sort of sum up maybe how we can live our faith fullest in the place, and especially maybe in a company when there are where there are challenges and where there are policies that might conflict or might be difficult for us to navigate.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody yesterday that was told in their company that they need to leave their Christianity at home. And that, to them, to the secular boss that, or the HR person, that probably means, you take your crucifix off the wall, or you don't show visible signs of prayer. But Christianity is a way of life. It's not just having a crucifix on the wall. It's the way you live, and it's the way you lead as a servant leader. It's the way you work with your teammates, and it's again linking Sundays and Mondays. That I didn't make that up. That actually came from Monsignor Shea at University of Mary. I took a class with him many years ago before he was famous, and the whole course was on linking Sundays and Mondays. But you need to show that Christian joy, and I believe that happiness is really a choice. And even if you're in difficult circumstances, be joyful. Obviously, prayer. But Chris Stefanik wrote a great book on joy. I mean, if you all don't watch Chris's podcast, you should, because he's filled with joy. And I mean, that's our obligation. And you want people to say, in that secular space that maybe doesn't understand Christ, you want them to say, you know what, this is this guy Pascal is incredible, and he's different than everybody else. And the difference, they're going to know that difference is, he's a Christian.
Good. Thanks so much, Rich. Well, I know we got a couple questions in the chat, so why don't we go ahead and address those?
Uh-oh.
All right. Are there certain rights that Catholic workers should be aware that they have when it comes to conflicts with company culture?
Yes, and I'm not an expert. I know this. There are things that are happening that are frankly illegal, and I'm friendly with the Beckett Fund. I'm friendly with Alliance Defending Freedom. Actually, if you go to Alliance Defending Freedom website, they have a list of your rights. So I would encourage that. But there are Wall Street firms in my industry that are telling people, if you have a cross or a crucifix on your neck, you have to tuck it in your shirt. And I was telling a friend of mine at Alliance Defending Freedom this, and they said, well, that's illegal. It is illegal. But you know what? It's a risk in many cases for an employee. They're trying to feed their family. They're trying to they're trying to pay their rent, pay their bills. It's a risk often for them to rise up. So I think if you have the courage to do it, that's wonderful, because you're helping others. It does take courage. And, the great thing, I think it was Billy Graham that said, the courage of one man will stiffen the spine of many. You do that in your workplace, you can be a hero, but you might lose your job, and maybe there's a lawsuit behind it. Actually, Alliance Defending Freedom would love to represent somebody, but it's going to take risk, and it's going to be, for some, it's going to be difficult. And I recognize there are fewer and fewer jobs out there for Christians, because all these old guys are selling their businesses that are telling you to leave. They're selling their businesses to the secular world. And so there are fewer companies like Innovest that really truly have a Christian culture.
Got it. Thank you. All right. I think we have a couple others. All right. What strategies do you recommend for effectively communicating concerns or disagreements in a professional and constructive manner?
Well, I would pray. I would pray for for Jesus to help you with this communication. I would also seek out others within the other like-minded Christians, Catholics within your company and outside your company, to help you with how to communicate the disagreement. But you need to do it with patience and joy. Try to keep anger at a minimum. I mean, I know that's easier to say than do, said than done. I probably have a few colleagues that look at me thinking, well, geez, Rich needs to take a breath once in a while. But prayer is so crucial, and it is amazing to me at times how God, through grace, just puts words into your mouth that are very effective.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as you said, maintaining that joy, maintaining that Christian charity is something we can never forget. So yeah, I appreciate that. I know a lot of people resonate with that. I think we have one more question in the chat. All right. How do you take workplace evangelization from the water cooler to the pew? Wow, the full life cycle.
Well, that's awesome. And my wife is great at this. She's subtle, and she's able to kind of take them to the pew without them even really knowing it. But it's a process, and there's no doubt that there are people here that have a much stronger faith in my firm at Innovest, our firm. I'm a partner. Because of the way we live here, and it's a process for them to maybe get back to the church or join the church. We've had conversions here, but everybody's different. I mean, everybody that you're evangelizing is different. But I would certainly offer them the ability to go to mass with you. But I think that there could be steps like that, going on a weekend to serve the poor. We have a great apostolate in Denver called Christ in the City, and that's one of the missions that we serve once a year, where we just go out and talk to those on the street, and we give them some dignity. I mean, those are beautiful places to get people engaged with the church, and that's a great step to get them into the pew.
Thank you so much. I think we have one more question. Ooh, how do you address public blasphemy at the workplace?
You know what? That's a great question, because I've been smeared personally. It's known that by some in the workplace that we have a Christian culture, but more likely it's me being involved in a lot of Catholic ministries. I've sat on a lot of boards, and you look at like voting, or campaign contributions are public. In our business, our clients are public information. If they're an institution, we have lots of institutions. So our clients include the Archdiocese of Denver, and Focus on the Family, and Catholic Charities, and Augustine Institute, and Focus. Those are all clients. And there are some out there that are offended by that. And I've been smeared by people within boards trying to really hurt our business. And I can tell you, it was really shocking in the beginning. But I prayed a lot, and it can be very hurtful. But it's almost today, I almost take it as a badge of honor, and I think it's a fight, and we are in a fight. And I was actually at a Catholic breakfast this morning, and Father Fessio, who runs Ignatius Press, was the keynote speaker, and he talked about he wants to die with a sword in his hand. And I think it's hard to be graceful when you're being publicly smeared, but I think prayer is really crucial, and it's almost like you need to wear it as a badge. So I don't want to say, I was going to say congratulations, but maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. But that says to me that you're probably living life in the right way, because there are people on the other side that are really mean. Satan is mean. The demons are mean. So
Thank you, Rich. Rich, a big thank you from all of us for your excellent advice, your leadership, and your public witness, which is very inspiring to us. I know it's touching so many. We really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us.
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot, Pascal.